Hi, folks. Another beautiful rainy day here in the Northwest. It's 12 noon and I've got all the lights on in the house. What are you going to do? Anyway, I've been meaning to make this video for quite a while. I want to confront the right-wing charge that the mainstream media has an inbuilt liberal bias. Unfortunately, despite what my critics accuse me of, I actually do have a full-time job. I keep a garden. I mow my lawn like a good American. And to make matters worse, I have a young, sexually aggressive wife, and believe me, keeping her happy takes a good bit of time out of each day, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so I have to, it takes me a while to write these things and get them videotaped. Anyway, here goes. For years, the right has made the charge that the broadcast media is controlled by liberals. Maybe in the day of Edward R. Murrow, Walter Cronkite, and Dan Rather, there might have been some truth to it. But even in those days, the TV networks, the newspapers, the radio stations were owned by corporations. And I think it is very naive to think that a corporation is going to allow one of its products, in this case the news, to in any way damage the interests of that corporation. I have a boss, you probably have a boss, and I'm not going to do anything that's going to get my boss pissed off at me because I don't want to get fired. So I think it's kind of hard to expect that news organizations, reporters are ever going to do anything to get their bosses too riled up at them either. Noam Chomsky, a Harvard linguist and famous left-wing speaker, he produced a movie called Manufacturing Consent. And bless his academic heart, in 2.5 hours, he makes a very painstaking case that the interests of corporations are embodied in the kind of news that we get. He does a far better job of proving this stuff, a far more detailed job than I'm ever going to do. And all I can suggest is that you check the movie out. A full-length version, uncut version, is available on YouTube. Also, a divided version, divided into 17 parts, is also available. So, if you really think that the news you get is liberal news, watch the movie. You got another thing, and believe me, it'll change your mind. Speaking for myself, it is clear to me that the mainstream media is at best a distraction. ABC, CBS, NBC, all of them. Their job is to keep us worried about who's going to win the Super Bowl or what those crazy Kardashians are up to now. Anything, so long as Americans aren't forced to face the reality that we live in a country with the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world. A country where half the people believe in angels. A country that rates 41st in premature infant death, right after Slovakia. A country that rates 43rd in a measure of income inequality. Well, we did beat out Haiti. Good for that. Yay. The U.S. life expectancy is 38th in the world. In the U.S., you can expect to live to be 75.6 years old. In Cuba, despite that darn free socialist health care, you can expect to live to be 76.2 years. And they're smoking cigars every day. We spend more on our military than the next 21 countries combined. And that includes Red China and Russia. There's more. But the point of this is, has anyone ever heard any of these topics, any of these numbers reported, or any of these topics addressed and discussed in any kind of serious manner in the supposedly liberal media? I know I haven't. I have to go to places like Democracy Now! With Amy Goodwin to hear this sort of stuff. It's a non-profit, self-syndicated show, and I hear it on this little old dinky college station late at night. Occasionally, I turn into Russia Today. This is a show that's it's actually on broadcast TV in Britain. That's where I first saw it. It's not here in the U.S., at least not in my market. Thankfully, somebody on YouTube loads the shows up, and you can see them. I really suggest going over there and see an episode of Russia Today. Maybe the Kaiser Report's one of my favorite. You can actually see Max Kaiser refer to the American banking system as a kleptocracy. It's very refreshing. You're never going to hear Rachel Maddow say something like that. Believe me. All right. What you will hear is a mob of loudmouth, women-hating bigots, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, and 20 others more, spouting conspiracy theories, looking for socialists and homosexuals under every bed, and shouting down anyone who dares to call them on their nonsense. Oh, that's not fair, I can hear you conservative types saying right now. What about Bill Maher and Jon Stewart? Well, what about them? Those guys are professional comedians. Nobody takes them seriously. They're just kidding. All right. We live under a system that is so biased, so corrupt, that most people cannot even see it, let alone have an opinion about it. Keeping the lie going is what mainstream media is all about. Keeping the mob in a dither about the threat of job-stealing Mexicans, predatory homosexuals, black helicopters, or worst of all, job-stealing Mexican drag queens in black helicopters is what Fox News and conservative talk radio is all about. If you're worried about that stuff, maybe you won't notice that the Wall Streeters and the Republican allies are robbing you blind. The public debate in America has been driven so far to the right that if Dwight Eisenhower were running for president today, he was the Republican president when I was a kid, Rush Limbaugh or one of these blowbags would probably accuse him of being a socialist. The true voice of progressive liberal thought is hardly to be heard at all. Liberal biased media, my ass. This is just another one of those big lies that the Republicans repeat over and over again in the hope that someday it might be true. All I can say is I sincerely hope you're not going to be taken in by this crap. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck. Bye.